It's going to be big. I mean really big, like thick, heavy books that need to be read on a stand like a dictionary. But the Lost Art Press thinks it's a project worth publishing. They spent 7 years accumulating as many issues of the Woodworker magazine as possible and will be producing a hardbound set of the journal that was originally published from the 1930s to the 1960s. The first volume will be 1,100 pages long, and the second just a trim 700 pages. And it will be in the same high-quality binding that we've come to expect from this small woodworking publisher. The only question is, how do you hold a book that big while you're sitting on the toilet? Well, we expect to find out when it's released sometime toward the end of the year. Breaking news, cherry usage has neither increased nor decreased. That may not seem like news to you, but it's actually a testament to the love many furniture makers have for the material. While a sagging Chinese economy has devastated the market for many North American wood species, cherry has stood out by not changing at all. Insiders say that it's because much of the cherry produced goes into furniture and millwork, and woodworkers' love for the rich, supple grain has not diminished. Here's a fun fact. 70% of our cherry comes from Pennsylvania, but 70% of our cherries come from maraschino jars. Here's a couple YouTube videos that have caught our attention recently. John Hines built something I've been planning for my shop for a long time now, homemade shutters. Here's the highlights. And Peter Brown of Shop Time built a wooden projector for his cell phone.
I had planned this whole method of how to secure it in there, and that'll vary depending on the type of lens that you use, so you'll have to adjust how far away from the box it is. And now let's turn off all the lights and have a look.
Don't forget to check out our list of favorite YouTube channels over at stumpynubs.com/friends. If you're into hand tool woodworking or dudes with dreadlocks, you probably know who Tom Fidgen is. He's written 2 best-selling books, The Unplugged Workshop and Made by Hand, and he teaches woodworking through his popular and Unplugged Life online school. Recently, Tom sat down with Scott Francis, who also happens to be my book editor, to answer a few questions about his work, his philosophy, and his plans for the future. Tom says he's struggled a bit over the last year as he's learned to work wood, film, and edit content for his website all at the same time. He also commented about how he was shocked to see how much work it takes to write a book, and he learned a lot the first time around. He goes into his love for music and the project he's currently working on. It's not a long interview, but it's an interesting one. I'll link to it for you in the show notes. Why spend all that time flattening your plane irons on a stone or plate when you can do it with a hammer? Paul Sellers doesn't believe perfect flatness is really needed, but an iron with a high center, or a belly as he calls it, can be a problem. Most people use their abrasives until they wear the high portion down. Paul uses a nylon-faced hammer. A whack or two on the high side will flatten it out a great deal. An extra whack can produce a slight hollow, which he likes even more. It's fast, it's easy, and it should beat spending hours hunched over a stone. You can read about the technique at the link below. Our senior tool correspondent Mustache Mike is here to tell us what's new in tools.
Thank you, Stumpy. Oneida has released a new hybrid dust collection system it calls the Dust Cobra. It's a cross between a shop vac and a dust collection cyclone. They say it provides 3 times the suction of a traditional shop vac with 70 inches of static pressure. The volume of air is modest as far as dust collectors go at just 245 cubic feet per minute, but exceptional when compared to a shop vac. It comes mounted to a 17-gallon steel drum and stands 4.5 feet tall. I'm not sure what to make out of this one. A lot of woodworkers use shop vacs to save on space, but this thing is really big. It's smaller than a proper dust collector, but not nearly as powerful. And at the $900 to $1,200 price range, it's more expensive than both put together. I'll be interested to see exactly where this thing fits into the marketplace.
Nothing sucks like a split plank. Be it a tabletop, a chair seat, or whatever you're working on, splits can occur naturally as the wood dries. The traditional fix is an inlaid bow tie, but Chris Schwartz has a less formal solution, a pocket screw. He uses a mini pocket jig to bore into the underside of the workpiece and a screw to pull the split closed. There's a small amount of technique to it, so I've linked to the article in the show notes below. We've been collecting names for our latest tool giveaway over the last few days. Our senior giveaway correspondent Mustache Mike is here to tell you exactly what it is and how you can win it.
We're giving away a Portermate PM 7000 fold-up workstation with a retail price of $330. It's absolutely loaded with features, and all you have to do to enter is to follow the instructions in the show notes below the video.
Well, that about wraps things up for this episode of Behind the Sawdust. Visit StumpyNubs.com at least once a week so you don't miss any of the woodworking goodness we've got going on there. We have new projects coming out, a complete workshop remodel, and a lot more. And don't forget to help support what we do by checking out our project plans. Then you can sit back and have yourself a cold one, because you've earned it, my friend.